Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Well, that was interesting reading through some of the comments from yesterday. It's always good to get them blocked. And anyway, we move on from today. Today, Big Chris Sutton has been talking about, obviously, the Celtic score yesterday, and he spoke with a fan after the game yesterday. Let's listen to what the fan and Chris Sutton had to say.
5 minutes ago, and I was down at the match today, and it's really concerning how far our levels have dropped.
What's the biggest concern?
It's coming up
Ian?
now. It's the way they're playing. The players. It's like last year, most of the players like 8 or 10 out of 10. This year, there's hardly any of them getting pass marks. It's absolutely rank to watch. And it's not just the sad thing is, it's not just that game today. For the majority of the half a season we've nearly played, the play, the possession, it's absolutely horrible. I don't know when I heard that Brendan Rodgers had been appointed as the new manager to take over from Big Ange, I thought myself it's probably the best the money could buy. It's probably the best we could get. But after this half a season, it's really alarming. I mean, at the match today, they were singing "Sack the Board," and that's the first time I've heard that since the dark days.
And you've got to remember, sorry for cutting in there, you've got to remember that's without the Green Brigade and the boys on the ground who yesterday spent the game down at the Celtic Supporters Association where they spend all their games where they're currently banned from Celtic. But anyway, we'll listen to what the guy has to say.
Days before Fergus McCann taking over. That's, again, it's serious. Like.
So I mean, Europe's been a massive disappointment as well. We have to say that, albeit we can talk about the financial situation for Scottish clubs. In the Champions League, it's difficult, but quite a gentle group. And then winning the other night, scoring late on. As good a victory as it was, it was a dead rubber. So here's my question to you, Ian: Does Brendan Rodgers have to take greater responsibility? Because just looking at his comments after the game, when he talks about a lack of intensity, a lack of desire, and the team were too passive, that's his job, right? To organise the team and make sure they're motivated.
Well, it is his job, and he's getting paid a lot of money. What the bit I can't understand is, they were basically the same team. A lot of that team are playing on the pitch today were there last season.
Agreed.
And for 2 years under Big Ange, the football was brilliant. This manager, Brendan Rodgers, comes in, and all the system goes out to hell. You know what I mean? There's too many project players. They're not even his signings. It's Peter Law.
Well, you say that, but to my knowledge, Brendan signs all the players off, so they are Brendan signings.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I would kind of have to disagree with you, Chris. To me, the board buy the players and they tell Brendan to manage them. So to me, I'm no bit. But if this is no sorted out in January, he doesn't get to take his own players in. I've got a feeling he's going to be off. He'll no probably any of that nonsense any longer.
Do you think? And what about the challenge from across the city? Are you worried about Rangers? I mean, is there a serious title race on?
There's absolutely a serious title race on now. There's no question about it. I mean, Rangers were bad for a long time, and they got the new guys come in now, and he's doing a fantastic job. So, things are serious, but there's a good chance we're not going to win the league this year. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Oof, Ian, thank you.
It's very concerning.
It is very concerning. It's concerning, and it's probably been expected by a lot of Celtic fans, let's face it. But when the manager does come out, and the manager was asked about Gustaf Lagerbielke, now a player that scored the winning goal for us in the Champions League, it came out late the other evening that Lagerbielke is going to be up for sale in January, which is astonishing considering the guy, we spent $3 million on him, and the speculation didn't go away. Brendan Rodgers was asked about it after the game. Lagerbielke himself, Gustaf, says he doesn't know why Brendan Rodgers is not playing him, and reports suggested that before the game yesterday that he was going to be up for sale. Brendan Rodgers was asked that, and Brendan Rodgers' reply was, "We shall see." Gus came in and scored the winning goal during the week. So, I think what will take place in January will sort itself out. I think in the meantime, the players are working very hard, and you see with the introduction of Stephen Welsh, Gustaf, that they came in and they helped the team. They can do that if their spirit and their focus is right. It's an interesting one. He then went on to say it's very pleasing aspect of the game the other night that guys like Mikey Johnson, who haven't really done much, have featured in the Champions League. It's a completely bizarre situation that Lagerbielke finds himself in after he had 4 clean sheets at the beginning of the season. He's done nothing wrong. Is it the fact that Brendan Rodgers didn't buy him in? Is this Brendan Rodgers? I mean, we know that Chris Sutton just said that Brendan Rodgers signs off the players. Was the likes of Gustaf players that were coming in under Ange Postecoglou? It was actually Ange signed them off. But then when the new manager come in, he was basically told, look, this is the players that come in. Do you want them? And he's basically, is it the fact that he's had one hand tied behind his back by the board? It's all speculation. But it is a bizarre, absolutely bizarre situation that Gustaf finds himself in. I feel sorry for the guy. He's done nothing wrong. And for him to score that goal, that header, it was sublime. He'd done everything perfect. He heads it down into the ground. He took it really well. And at a time when we have been struggling for people to score goals from the head anyway, from crosses and from that end of the pitch, or even corners, So anyway, the 23-year-old, will Celtic manage to recoup any of the money that they paid for him? Well, they'll also recoup something, but it's a completely bizarre situation. So tell me your thoughts on what big Chris Sutton and the fan just said in the comment section. Let's get back to Brendan Rodgers and what he said yesterday after the game. You can understand that he was as disappointed as us, but he found it as no surprise, which was an interesting comment by Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers felt compelled to apologise to the Celtic fans for the first time after a performance. He has admitted that his side lacked desire in the 2-0 defeat to Hearts at Celtic Park yesterday. The free header at the back was just terrible. Should Celtic have had a foul at that point? Was Greg Taylor getting held? Yes. Was the ref going to give us anything? No, but we can't use that. So we move on from that. It was a free header that he got. Brendan Rodgers said right from the start, our desire, our mentality right from the off, was nowhere near the level of a Celtic team, said Rodgers. Very passive and lacked fluidity. That's his shout. And it's like Chris Sutton says, that's his shout to get them. And why aren't they playing with the right mentality? What does that tell? Well, like I said in the live yesterday, if you're going to slate the players in public and say that you want to bring in better players, you need to have the team. You have to have the players that are with you just now. They've got to have your back. And I feel that the manager's publicly throwing some of the players under the bus, if you like. Anyway, Rodgers says we started the game a little slow, but our ability to keep the ball in the final third and create wasn't quite there. How many times has he said that this season? How many times has Brendan Rodgers said the final third? In the final third, we've just not had it. It's outstanding that we're halfway into the season and he's still using that same old line. Then we got undone naively from a corner. And I said, as soon as we got the corner, I said in the pub, I said, here comes the first goal. The second goal was a fantastic free kick. Yes, it was. Should the keeper have done a bit more? I think Peter Grant summed it up on Celtic TV yesterday, what he thought about the keeper and where the keeper was placed. It was a real sore one. For the first time I've been here, said Brendan Rodgers. Over my 2 periods, I would have to apologise to the supporters because this level is nowhere near the standard of performance required at Celtic, nowhere near it. And it was interesting that rather than walk around the full pitch yesterday, Brendan Rodgers did go up the tunnel and Callum McGregor got all the players together on the pitch and spoke to the players on the pitch before they went back into, obviously, be spoken to by the manager, Brendan Rodgers. But what does that say about? I mean, people have been giving Callum stick on social media, saying that his standards been nowhere near. He shouldn't be near Celtic captaincy, but he did take up the captaincy and he spoke to the players on the pitch. So the lack of consistency, Brendan Rodgers says, the mentality and the desire, the way of this club demands. You're sat here in mid-December with 60,000 in front of you and you perform like that. It is not acceptable, says Brendan Rodgers. Only 2 weeks ago, Brendan Rodgers claims that he had never been angrier following a performance up in Perth. And you would think that would get through to the players. It doesn't seem to be getting through to the players, Brendan. So what does that tell us from the outside looking in? With the fact that the Celtic manager absolved Callum McGregor yesterday from any blame, as well as Liam Scales and Matt O'Reilly said. I can't say I'm surprised that I've seen the performance dip, but when you look at it, it's a worrying thing that when Brendan Rodgers is coming out and saying things like this, it is a worry to me. You can't just keep on saying the players aren't doing it. You're the one that you've been saying this for weeks now. You're the one that's got them on the training pitch. What you're doing week in, week out. You've took what was a good winning team, and everyone's saying this. We've took what was a good winning team playing fast attacking football to football that's slowed down. Now, I have been one to back Brendan Rodgers, and Brendan Rodgers has said publicly that he does not want to play this slow passive football. He wants to play fast attacking football. So either one, the players aren't listening to him, or his message isn't getting through. Either way, we do need new players in to help this team out. It's imperative that we get the right type of quality in. And for the fact that he's come out and said that in public, don't know, what does that do to the confidence of the player? And it's a complete bizarre situation we find ourselves in with Gustaf Lagerbielke, not knowing why he's not in the team, and then being touted out for sale less than 6 months after he came. Anyway, on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's little rant. There's nothing better than a good old rant after a Celtic game. We're not going to pretend it wasn't a rant. It was a rant, and I love it, so I don't care. Do I regret anything from yesterday? Not a jot. Not a jot. It's all fantastic, and it's all about entertainment, and that's what YouTube is, remember. It's an entertainment platform. So this nonsense that you've got to be professional on it, I mean, fling at yourself. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, all around the world.